Hello. So in this video, I want to go ahead and before we add our remote server and set up our client and everything, I wanted to go ahead and add some users to our Windows server. So in the last video, if you remember, we go into Active Directory users and computers. If we go into like our admin folder, we can right click and we can add a new user and we can type in all the information and add the new user this way. But if you have to add a lot of users, like for example, if you got to add, if you're setting up a whole new server and stuff, you got to add a lot of names. A better way to do it is with using a script. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So I went ahead and I created this organizational chart. Um, it's basically just a basic chart. It was something I came up with just kind of off the top of my head, just to have a way to show how we're going to set up the server. Um, so I have a CEO and a CFO, and then I have directors. So I have different departments. I have a sales department, a marketing department, an HR department, and an IT department. And I set up some names. Again, this is just basic. I didn't really follow any kind of corporation. So I have directors here at this level. And then down here, I have a Southeast region. So you can imagine if you have a nationwide company, you would have maybe a southeast region, a northeast region, and maybe a west region. You'd have different teams in there, and then you'd have directors that were in charge of all those regions. Chances are it's probably going to be called vice presidents. I probably have everything too high of a level, but again, this is just a basic example. So in our southeast region, we have a sales manager, and then we have the sales staff, and then we have a marketing manager, the marketing staff, and so on and so on. So I took all these names that I have, and rather than add them one by one, what I did was I created a list. And it's basically just a basic text file of all the list of names that I have in here. And we're going to add those into that. So how we're going to do it is we're going to use a PowerShell script. So I have a PowerShell script here that I got off the internet. I'll include the link for the GitHub gist that includes this Power script. And basically, it's just going to go through and it's going to create a users folder. It's going to add every single name that's in this text file here. It's going to add each name individually. It's going to set it up in the way that we have it formatted. So remember, we have it formatted with the first initial, last name. It's going to format it into that position. It's going to give everybody a password one password, and it'll set it up that way. So to do that, you take the script and you see here I have my Windows Server virtual machine already open. I've already logged into it. I'm using the admin account. Um, if you look here, you can't see it, but I'm using the administrator account. So I put the PowerShell script and the list of names on my desktop, or just on the desktop folder here. So what you do is you go into here and then you see Windows PowerShell. We're going to right click on that. We're going to go down to where it says Windows PowerShell ISE. We're going to right click on that and we're going to go over here to more and we're going to run as administrator. Okay, so that's going to hit yes. That's going to open up a PowerShell that'll allow us to play the script with the name. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up this. We're going to go to our desktop folder, which I already have it here, and we're going to open up this PowerShell script. Okay, so now we have this PowerShell script open and all ready to go. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to change our folder so that we are on the desktop. So we're going to say C:, and then we're going to go to users, and then we're going to go to my administrative account, and then we're going to go to desktop. Okay, so we want to have the PowerShell program needs to be on the same folder here as where the names are, because otherwise it won't recognize, it won't pick up the names. Okay, so once we've done that, once we're on the desktop, we have our PowerShell script open. All we need to do is hit play, and you can see it's going to go through and it's going to create it's creating each one of the names. Okay, it's saying creating. It's doing that based on this right here. If you look at this line here, it says creating user such and such, such and such. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we can close out of our PowerShell script. We don't need to, we don't need to do that. That's the wrong one. Close out of the PowerShell script. Now, if we go back into our administrative tools down to Active Directory users and computers, we will see a folder here now that says users. And if you look, you have all the users that we added one by one. Instead of adding them manually, typing in all the information, we ran a script to type in every single user account. And if we were to log into one of these accounts, we would see that they would all have the password one. They'd all have for example, this guy's name is Alberto Burke, and his name is A Burke. We log into him using the password one as a password, and he'd be set up. If we go over here, we can find him. Find him. Alberto Burke right here. He is the director of IT. So we can go through if we wanted to, and we could put in titles and things like that in here, descriptions. I'm not really going to go that far, but you can if you wanted to, if you wanted to make things. And as we set up our hierarchy over here, we'll actually get rid of this users folder eventually. We'll actually have one that'll be like, we'll have a management folder that'll have all the managers and the CEO and stuff, and then we'll have a sales folder that'll have these ones, a marketing folder, an HR folder. We'll get into all of that after we set up some other stuff. But I just wanted to show you that video how to manually add things, or excuse me, how to add things automatically using a PowerShell script instead of manually typing. So if you can imagine, if you had a list here of say 500 names or 1,000 names that you wanted to set up, you wouldn't want to sit there. You'd be there for days typing everything. If you do the PowerShell script, you can do it in a matter of a couple minutes. So that's it for this video. The next video, we'll get back to setting up the remote server, and then we'll eventually set up the client. Thank you.